like just getting to play with him and just seeing him back in the rotation?
I mean, it was great to see. Obviously, like y'all saw, he's moving well. Like he's doing his thing. And go out there and right tackle a position he hasn't played in almost a decade and do what he did. Like, it just shows the caliber of player he is. And like, we're excited to have him back. Like, I can't say that enough. Excited to have him back.
I know this is an obvious question, but what does he bring by being back on that line?
I mean, that the knowledge, like the physicality, just like the know-how, like and then just that different aura around him. Like when he steps on the field, like guys know who he is, like guys know what he brings to the table, and just like the physical dominance that he brings to whatever side he's on is just it's something that can't be like talked about enough. So definitely. He just brings those things to the table, and even during game, he's always, updating me on what he sees, like letting me know what he sees. And the knowledge aspect of it is just as important as the other things. So definitely he's bringing a lot.
You're a guy who had to switch positions and you kind of settled in a little bit, but could you talk about maybe the difficulty of what he did on Sunday to not only switch from tackle or from guard to tackle, but to switch to the other side?
I mean, like with any work you put in, it's like you built up a lot of calluses. Like, and him being a left tackle, the weight distribution is different, the footwork is different, like your drive angles are different. There's so many things that goes into that, and like just for him to be able to move to the other side, have as much production and do as well as as he's doing. Like, it's crazy because, like, it's he has a different kick foot. Like, his post angles are different. Like, his weight distribution, all those things. So it just shows what type of player he is, him and JP. And it's just, it's crazy to see, those type of guys, like those guys doing that. But, they're Hall of Fame caliber players. So it's like, it's recognized that he just has that ability for sure.
I know this is your first season, but you're kind of solidifying yourself on that line as well, too. How would you evaluate where you are right now and just how good you're feeling being a part of that line?
I mean, definitely, I played, a bit of football, and definitely not as much as the other guys on the line. But, I'm getting to where I'm trying to go. I definitely feel like, there's a lot I can still be better at, a lot I'm still trying to improve on. And just being consistent week to week is the biggest thing for me. But, I'm excited. Every day is a day to get better. So, the journey continues for sure.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
When did you realize that, holy shit, I have 3 Hall of Fame guys in my room?
Man, it had to be. I mean, when Tyron came back into the room, because he was injured when JP got here, but when Tyron came back to meetings, and like when I seen them all out there one time in a walkthrough, I'm like, wow, that's really that's 3 gold jackets on a starting line. Like, it's rare to have that in your building. So it was definitely a crazy moment for sure, and just for all of them to be playing, still being very productive is just like that's crazy as well. So
Is it not maybe what they say, but watching them lead off onto you, or is it something they've said?
I mean, it's stuff they said and watching them. Like, it's all inclusive for sure. Just watching how they go about their business, like, the consistency in their sets, consistency in their fundamentals, like their understanding of the game. All those things are just like, just helping me as a player get to where I'm trying to go. So just having these guys in the building has brought me leaps and bounds from where I was when I first stepped in. And, they're continuing to help me get better every day.
What's one thing that those little things that you said that you remember you picked up on, like, wow, I never even thought of it that way?
I mean, just being consistent. Like, JP said one time, just have the same, like, take the same kicks. Like, and it's something small, but just doing it over and over again, just repetitions, it builds up, those calluses, that muscle memory, all those type of things. So that's something that's helped me a lot. Like, just one of the things they said.
Why wouldn't you take the same kicks?
I mean, exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what they're saying. They're like, why wouldn't you take the same kick? So take the same kick. So, yeah.
Coach McCarthy, when Cooper told me a story, like when he first went and started, he's like, this position you played your entire life, just go play. As you go back to your first start, did Coach McCarthy say anything to you about it's just football, just go and play?
I mean, I don't know if Coach McCarthy said something, but Coach Philbin did. That was kind of the vibe in the building. Like, when I came in, like, I was ready to do whatever I had to do. And, when the situation arose, like, I just knew it was a challenge that, I had to step up to the plate for. And so, I love football. Like, it's part of the business. So, Coach Philbin told me, though, he was like, just go out there and enjoy football. You're a kid from Fort Worth, and you're finna be starting for the Dallas Cowboys. Just go out there and play ball. Like, so that was cool for me, at least. That's kind of one thing he told me.
When Tyron came back at right tackle or on the left, what message did that send to you about how much this franchise believes in you wanting to keep you there?
Man, I mean, it definitely meant a lot. It meant a lot to me in terms of just like how they view me, how they see me, and it was big. At any given point, I'm ready to do whatever I got to do. Like whether that be moving or whatever it is. But just to see them have that trust in me, and like had that trust in him as well to go out there and compete where he was. It was big. Like it was huge for me.
When did you first hear that he might be at right tackle? And do you have any sense of did he offer? Did he talk to you about it? What's that conversation like?
So I remember like that week I saw him take reps over there. I wasn't for sure like what would happen. Like I knew him and JP were kind of taking reps over there, but it was probably like I really say like the beginning of that week I kind of had an idea and I was just like, man, like it's gonna be crazy to have him over there and just seeing him quickly adapt as quickly as he did. Like it was crazy. I was like, wow, like we got a different guy over here. But just having him back. He brings so much to the table with his physicality, his know-how, and it was good for us as a whole. Like it was huge.
Yeah, I was gonna say I know you talked about guard versus tackle, same kind of movements. It's just a different space that you're working in, but you have to flip your brain to go to the right side.
Right.
What would you have to do to get yourself ready to play right tackle?
I mean, it's a lot. Like you gotta get your I'm sorry. You gotta get your weight together. Like the weight distribution is different, the footwork's different, like the kick angles are different. So you just gotta really with the little reps that he did have and the little time he did have, you got to hone in on all those things. Like, it's a complete change. JP did the same thing, but just it takes a lot of focus and, a lot of know-how. Like, you definitely got to be savvy to pull off something like that, for sure.
What do you remember about the first Philly game in terms of their defensive line? What makes them so challenging, and what are you looking for on tape this week?
I mean, definitely. I think we're just gonna focus on winning on first and second down. That's the biggest thing because we got movers, we got big playmakers. It's gonna ultimately come down to just being consistent. Just winning on first and second down. Like obviously, that's a talented group. Both D-line and secondary wise, like they complement each other nicely. So, winning on first and second down and being consistent is gonna be huge for us. Yeah.
And then as far as going back to Tyron for a second, the muscle memory. Can you talk about how hard it is to really overcome the muscle memory aspect of it to switch sides of the line like that?
I mean, it's something else because when you're kicking off, when you kicking left per se, like you pushing off your right foot, like so your right foot just gets used to kicking and kicking and kicking. Like how far you're gonna go, like all these things. When you go over to the right side, you're kicking off your left foot, so your body isn't as used to kicking off of there, like it isn't as used to posting with a different foot. So it's just like little things you gotta take into account. Like you gotta figure out how many kicks do you need, like things like that, like where you gotta shift your weight to stay square in your kicks, like things like that. And so that's kind of some of the things you would have to focus on, like in that short span of time of you learning that. So it's huge. It really is huge. It's kind of crazy.
And do you feel like everybody as a whole, the O-line, but also Dak, felt a bit more comfortable having Tyron in there? Did you feel like there was a sense of maybe more of a safety blanket overall this season?
I mean, definitely just having him back just made, it was huge for us. Like, just having him there, having his physicality, having his know-how was just huge for the team as a whole. Like, losing him at the beginning of the season was tragic. And, like, just to see him come back in the time that he did and be as healthy and as good-looking as he is right now is just, like, it's crazy. So it definitely felt good. I remember, Dak said, missed your grunt 7-7 or something like that because, Tyron be grunting and stuff. So you kind of feel that, it was definitely good to have him back for sure.
Yeah, the number of words you speak relative to him very different. You're working at here.
I'm a more talkative guy, but yeah.